It's safe to say that 2023 wasn't the best season of Formula 1 we've seen, unless your name is Max Verstappen. It was, by almost every metric, the most dominant season in history. So why on earth do I think 2024 will be anything other than another Verstappen washout? Well, there's a few indicators that this season will be far better, and perhaps the greatest season we've ever seen. Firstly, the teams are closer than they've ever been. Towards the end of 2023, the entire field was separated in Q1 by less than a second. In Abu Dhabi especially, a track known for being particularly car dependent, the gap between Max and Joe was just 0.999 of a second. And more impressively, the gap from Max to Bottas was just 0.6. It's genuinely unbelievable what we are seeing in qualifying nowadays. When I started watching in 2016, there was 3.2 seconds between the field in the equivalent Abu Dhabi qualifying session, and historically 1 second could often be the gap between first and second place. Despite the domination, the field is stacked on top of each other, and without a rule change, that will only get closer next season. The second way 2024 could be fantastic is the potential 5-way fight for the top spot. Although Red Bull were superior last year, 4 other teams are positioned to swoop in and fight for wins. McLaren are the favourites to take the fight to Red Bull due to their mid-season resurgence, and Norris is overdue his first win by over 2 years now. Ferrari also turned up the heat at the end of last year, and as we all know, Sainz took that calculated win in Singapore. Aston Martin started 2023 as the second best team, but slipped to 5th, and I imagine they'll be aiming to pick up that outfit's first win since 2020 next season, after their handful of podiums last season. You've got to remember that the sliding ATR scale gives all the teams behind Red Bull more points of testing, so it'll be interesting to see how that affects the order until the reset in June. The midfield also has its own storylines bubbling up. Alpine has seen so many 100 race plans go by without much progress, but can they finally kick on in 2024? AlphaTauri or Racing Bulls or Toro Rosso, let's just call them Minardi, have stated that they will be closely aligned with Red Bull this year, so it's anticipated they'll jump up the grid in a similar way that Haas did when they took on that philosophy in 2018 that led to their P5 finish. Williams are slowly rebuilding, and the main question mark at that team is Logan Sargent and his ability to find his feet in his second season. And then you have Haas and the newly named Stake F1 team. Despite some impressive qualifying efforts, both found themselves at the back for most of last year. Can they get themselves back in the mix for points, or are they condemned to P9 and P10 once again? There's so many stories for fans to get excited about and see unfold throughout the season. One of the best aspects for many fans is silly season, and 2024 could have the silliest of silly seasons. The only team with a fixed lineup is Mercedes, so we could see change throughout the grid. The hot topic is of course Perez's seat at Red Bull, but with a regulation change inbound for 2026, all teams will be looking to lock in and future-proof for 2025 and beyond. Alpine have both drivers up for renewal, with both appearing to be increasingly frustrated with the team's inability to build on previous seasons. Haas will be struggling to retain their drivers with a bleak season in prospect, and meaning the futures of Magnussen and Hülkenberg will be worth following this year. And what of young Yuki Tsunoda and Guan Yu Zhou? With Yuki entering his 4th season and needing to prove he smoothed out all his rough edges, and Zhou's 3rd season needing to be a serious improvement on his previous 2 after scoring just 12 points to Bottas's 59. On top of this, Formula 2 this year is being touted as the most complete grid in years, and racing in an all-new chassis means the field is level between rookies and seasoned F2 campaigners. Kimi Antonelli will surely have one eye on Logan's seat, and Ollie Behrman will be trying to secure his place in the Haas camp after testing for them at the end of last season. My 2025 predictions will be coming out soon, so make sure to subscribe for that. Safe to say, it's all to play for. And to finish off with a bit of a crofty stat, the dominant seasons in the 21st century have all been followed by brilliant seasons. 2002's Ferrari superiority was followed by a 3-way fight in 2003. Sebastian's spectacular 2011 season was followed by arguably the best season of all time. 2016, the year Rosberg beat Hamilton in equal machinery, led into 2017 with a Vettel-Hamilton dogfight, and then 2020, the final year of Mercedes' dominance, was followed by 2021, and we all know how that one went. Now this is absolutely cherry picking and has no context applied, but it's a nice little stat to give you some optimism for the season ahead. I hope this video has given you a reason to be less doom and gloom about the upcoming season. I'm interested to hear what you guys are excited for this year. This might all be copium, but I really feel like this year could be a classic. I want to share that with you by launching this channel. I really appreciate it if you could interact with this video to get it into the algorithm, and if you've reached this part, you're a legend. See you next time.